Welcome to Spectrum News at 10, coming to you live from Uyo. My name is Ofonono Joseph. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu set to leave Abuja for a two-nation visit to South Africa and Angola. Vice President Kashim Shettima to visit Kebbi State today. Plus, U.S. House votes to compel Justice Department to release all Jeffrey Epstein files. Stay tuned for details of these stories and more after this timeout. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on the news on Spectrum Television. First in the news this morning is that President Bola Tinubu is set to leave Abuja for a two-nation visit to South Africa and Angola. The President's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, made this known in a statement. Onanuga said the President's first stop is Johannesburg, where he will attend the 20th G20 Leaders Summit before proceeding to Angola for the AU-EU Summit. Reports say South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, who also serves as the current president of the G20 group, invited his Nigerian counterpart to participate in this year's edition. Meanwhile, the summit, which will be held from Saturday, November 22 to Sunday, November 23 at the Johannesburg Expo Center, brings together leaders from the world's top 20 economies, including the European Union, the African Union, and financial institutions, among others. According to the statement, President Tinubu is also expected to hold bilateral meetings during the summit in furtherance of the Renewed Hope agenda, as well as to discuss regional and international peace, security, and development. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has approved changes in two key federal agencies, the National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, and the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NETI. He redeployed and appointed officials to strengthen transparency, accountability, and effective service delivery in strategic sectors of government. The changes were contained in a statement issued by the Director, Information and Public Relations in the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, Segun Imoyoshen. According to the statement, President Tinubu approved the redeployment of Musa Sarkin Ada from his position as NIWA Chairman to serve as Executive Secretary of NETI. Mukhtar Shehu Shagari was appointed as the new NIWA chair to replace Ada. The President urged the newly appointed and redeployed officials to approach their responsibilities with patriotism and professionalism. Away from that, President Bola Tinubu has directed Vice President Kashim Shettima to visit Kebbi State today. Shettima will sympathize with the Kebbi State government and reassure parents and guardians of the kidnapped schoolgirls from Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School that efforts are underway for their swift release. President Tinubu's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, disclosed this in a statement. The President also extended condolences to the military for the loss of soldiers, including Brigadier General Musa Uwa, who died while on active duty combating insurgents in Borno State. Tinubu commended Kebbi State Governor Nasser Idris for efforts met to avert the kidnapping while decrying the security breach that allowed the abduction of the girls from their boarding school in Maga. He urged communities nationwide, especially in high-risk areas, to provide information that could assist security forces. From the Red Chambers, worried by the abduction of 25 students of the Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School, Maga, in Kebbi State, the Senate has urged President Bola Tinubu to immediately approve urgent recruitment of at least 100,000 Nigerians into the military to further boost security in the country. This was just as it set up an ad hoc committee to carry out thorough investigation into the fund expended so far on the Safe School initiative, while calling for the rescue of all the students from their abductors. The Senate resolutions were sequel to an urgent motion sponsored by Senator Yahaya Abdullahi on the abduction of the schoolgirls in the early hours of Monday. Presenting the motion, Senator Abdullahi said the abduction of the students and killing of the school vice principal by bandits was a dirty slap on the face of the nation, which must be seriously looked into and urgently addressed. In another development, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has revealed the major obstacle to real-time election result uploads. Chairman of the Commission, Professor Joash Amukbiton San, while speaking at the 2025 Digital Nigeria International Conference and Exhibitions in Abuja, said despite major gains achieved through the deployment of the bimodal voter accreditation system, poor telecommunications connectivity remains the Commission's biggest obstacle to real-time result uploads. Professor Amukbiton, represented by National Commissioner May Abumeche Mbu, acknowledged that the uneven quality of network coverage across Nigeria continues to hinder seamless transmission of polling unit results through the INEC result viewing portal. Meanwhile, a statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the INEC Chairman, Dayo Oketola, noted that while voter impersonation and multiple voting have been effectively curtailed, the Commission is still grappling with connectivity gaps in several parts of the country. In education, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has announced plans to shut down all public universities in Nigeria indefinitely from Friday. The union disclosed this in a terse statement on its official X account. According to ASU, the decision will be implemented if the federal government fails to meet all its demands, including fair remuneration and improved working conditions for lecturers, to stem the ongoing exodus of academic talent from Nigerian universities. Recall that ASU rejected the 35% salary proposal by the federal government. Also, ASU in October suspended its 2-week warning strike for renegotiation of the 2009 federal government ASU agreement and to address other outstanding issues affecting the university system. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Omono has called for unwavering loyalty and faithfulness amongst government workers as fundamental keys to effective and productive service delivery in the system. Governor made the remark during the swearing-in ceremony of the state's new head of service, Elsie Peters, at Banquet Hall, Government House in Uyo. Governor congratulated Elsie Peters for being the 7th head of the state civil service and the 4th woman to occupy the exalted office. Pastor Eno charged the new appointee to run a civil service where the key ingredient will be loyalty to the state and the governor, and the acute understanding of the ideals that shape the government's Arise agenda. Meanwhile, a specialist radiologist with the University of Uyo Teaching Hospital, Dr. Colin Sasukwo, has warned that the recently mandated ban on sachet-packaged high-strength alcoholic beverages by National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control (NAFDAC), following a resolution from the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is both timely and vital for Nigeria's youth and low-income populations. Dr. Asukwo emphasized that continued consumption of high-strength alcohol in sachets poses significant health risk, particularly among young people and vulnerable groups. According to him, accessibility and affordability of sachet-packaged alcohol contribute to early initiation and addiction. To ensure the ban achieves its purpose, he recommended that preventive health strategies must go hand in hand with enforcement, while advising NAFDAC and other regulatory agencies to tighten surveillance to prevent the infiltration of counterfeit or unregulated alcoholic products into the market. After the sachet ban, recall that the Senate last week ordered NAFDAC to enforce a ban from December 2025 on alcoholic beverages packaged in sachets or small bottles under 200 milligram, a move aimed at tackling a major public health concern. Now to Africa, where Tanzania's President Samia Hassan has said that the violence that followed the country's disputed October election could hurt access to international funding. Speaking as she swore in government ministers, Hassan said that what happened had tarnished the country's image and reduced its chances of getting loans. She urged officials to focus on raising funds from domestic sources. Reports say Tanzania remains fiscally dependent on external financing, with aid still accounting for some 23% of government revenue in 2023. On the foreign scene, the U.S. House has voted 421-1 to compel the Justice Department to release all of its Jeffrey Epstein files. The bipartisan bill will now have to pass a Senate vote before heading to President Donald Trump's desk to be signed into law. Earlier, survivors of Epstein spoke at a news conference at the U.S. Capitol. Annie Farmer said they have suffered institutional betrayal for years. Still on the foreign scene, a U.S. federal court has blocked Texas from using new voting maps drawn by Republicans in an effort to shore up their majority in the 2026 midterm elections. The court said evidence indicated the new voting districts were racially gerrymandered and ordered the state to use the congressional lines they had in place before they redistricted earlier this year. Republicans in the state legislature redrew voting districts mid-decade, sparking both Democrat and Republican-led states to follow suit and adjust their maps for a political edge ahead of next year's midterm elections. Meanwhile, Texas Governor Greg Abbott has vowed to swiftly appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court against the ruling. Still to come in the news, Burkina Faso and Morocco qualify for FIFA Under-17 World Cup quarterfinal stage in Qatar. Stay tuned. We'll bring you more stories after this break. Welcome back. We appreciate you for staying with us. Let's conclude the rest of our news stories. On our business news, the federal government has commenced the National Single Window NSW user acceptance testing with the first cohort of participating stakeholders, marking a major step toward ensuring the unified technology-driven trade ecosystem becomes operational by March 2026. The technology vendor guided each agency and stakeholder through the NSW's onboarding process, system navigation features, and the operational framework designed to streamline the country's trade processes. The Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, and the Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Dr. Zach Adedeji, visited the vendor to assess the level of progress recorded so far. Representatives from key regulatory and trade bodies participated in the inaugural session, including the Nigeria Agricultural Quarantine Service, Standards Organization of Nigeria, National Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency, the Nigeria Customs Service, the Council for the Regulation of Freight Forwarding in Nigeria, as well as importers, exporters, clearing agents, and freight forwarders. We move now to health, where the World Health Organization (WHO) representative and the head of mission to Nigeria, Dr. Pavel Usu, has said that over 60,000 lives have been lost each year since 1990 due to antimicrobial resistance (AMR) in Nigeria. Dr. Usu stated this in his message to mark the 2025 World AMR Awareness Week, themed Act Now, Protect Our Present, Secure Our Future. The WHO stated that AMR occurs when bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites change over time and no longer respond to medicines, making infections harder to treat and increasing the risk of disease spread, severe illness, and death. According to Dr. Usu, AMR is a growing global threat, disproportionately targeting lower and middle-income countries and vulnerable populations. We move now to sports, where two African countries, Burkina Faso and Morocco, have qualified for the FIFA Under-17 World Cup quarter-final stage in Qatar. This follows the conclusion of the final round of 16 fixtures played yesterday. Burkina Faso and Morocco advanced to the last 8 after beating Uganda and Mali, respectively. Meanwhile, the likes of Brazil, Switzerland, Italy, and Austria joined the African duo with comfortable wins in their round of 16 fixtures. Reports say the Under-17 FIFA World Cup will come to an end later this month. Still talking sports, Spain clinched automatic qualification to the 2026 World Cup despite drawing with Turkey in Seville. Luis de la Fuente's side finished the campaign top of Group E, having won and kept a clean sheet in 5 of their 6 qualifying matches. The result means only England will end the European World Cup qualifiers having not conceded a goal. On our entertainment news, American rap star Onika Tanya Maraj-Petty, popularly known as Nicki Minaj, has lent her voice to the growing international call to end the alleged violence perpetrated by insurgents and bandits in northern Nigeria. While delivering a keynote address at a United States mission to the United Nations Conference on Combating Religious Violence and the Killing of Christians in Nigeria, the Grammy-winning artist demanded that no group should ever be persecuted because of their faith. Amid calls for urgent global action to address Nigeria's deepening insecurity crisis, she clarified that her intention is to unite humanity and not to take sides. The rapper thanked President Trump for prioritizing the issue and for his leadership on the global stage in calling for urgent action to defend Christians in Nigeria to combat extremism. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do well to follow us on all our social media handles and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 10. My name is Ofonono Joseph. Good morning.